Coming up in today's video, we're going to be going and finishing off the last 2 pages on our MVC project. Stay tuned. Hey, Frank Thomas here. Thanks for joining me today. As I mentioned in the intro, we're going to be going into the last 2 pages of our project and completing the details and the delete pages. Very simple to do. It's so easy, it's crazy. So you're going to see what we're going to be doing here. So let's take a look here. I'm going to jump to the screen, and in the screen here, I've got the session still running, and I'm going to kill the session for now, and I'm going to jump into the customer controller here. Actually, looking at the index here, we have details. So let's do details next. So I'm going to grab details. That's the action name. And you can see here it's being passed the ID. So we're going to make sure we accommodate for that. So I'm going to do a get customers details. So we're going to do a public action result. And we're going to pass in the ID. Okay, so going forward here, what we're going to want to do here, just give me a sec as I pull up my show notes, make sure I do everything right here, is we need to take the ID, we need to grab the customer record, and then we display the customer record. It's very quick, very simple. So there's no post action or anything like that with this. This is just basically to show everything. Now, why would you have a details page if you have a edit page? Well, the reason why is maybe on your edit page, you don't show everything, or on your details page, you show more stuff. Maybe you link to another table. And let's say we have a view model for the details page, and you link to that table, and you show other things based around the customer, like purchases made in the past, things like that. So, but again, we're not doing anything exotic. So the page seems a little out of place in some ways, but it does have uses. So details. To make the details page, we're going to, it's much like the edit page. We're going to grab the information that we need, just like that, and pass it to the actual view. It's really that simple, okay? Okay, so we're going to create the view, and we're going to say it's our details page, and we're using the model customer and add. It is that stinking simple. So we'll go back to here. We'll jump into the actual run of the application to the customer's page. Just takes a second here. Okay, so it's up now. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on details, and you can see basic page. And now, like I said, you can see how we could use this. We could put a table underneath for purchases and use a view model, or model view instead of just a database view or database model. And yeah, so simple. Back to here, and you can see here the edit works. You can jump to the edit page, and Bob's your uncle. So all I have to do is complete the delete page. Now the delete page is a 2-step process. We're going to do a put, and we're going to do a post after, and you'll see why. Now again, this is another place where we can do some exotic things. We can use JavaScript to actually do a JavaScript or an AJAX call back to the post page, and get rid of that through AJAX. So, and just make the record go away, go back to list page, and life is good. So there's a lot of things we can do. So let's go back to the customer controller. The index, we need the delete action name. I'm going to copy that. And we're going to go down here, and we're going to say get customers delete. Public action result delete. And again, as you can see on the edit or the index page, we're passing the ID in. So we need to pass it in here into ID. Okay, so here we go. We've got that. Life is good. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we need to create the customer from that. And then we got to pull the customer up. And then we have to pull up the record, and then we can delete that record. So it seems a little kind of ambiguous and a little long-winded, but this is the way it works. So basically, I'm going to go here. I'm going to grab the customer. Okay, it's gonna bark at me here, and actually, I'll just do this. Because the edit is very close to the delete. Okay, so we create a new customer, and what we do is we call up that customer by calling it up from the database. You have to do this. The next action we do is we say context customers remove customer. Because again, we have that record opened up inside of an entity for us. Because we have to crack the record open, and we do our save, of course. Okay, so the last thing we have to do is redirect back to the index page. Oh, actually, no, this, I'm jumping ahead of myself here. I apologize, I'm jumping ahead of myself. We have to actually just call this up. I do this all the time. Call this up. Let me just make sure I'm doing everything correctly here. Yeah, okay, sorry. This is actually the post action, so I'm going to cheat here. I always think these two actions together, and I'm not sure why. So I'm going to say post here. So again, my apologies, guys. Okay, so because now we actually have the customer here. Okay, we pull by the customer ID. So basically, we're going to overwrite it with this entry here, and it should just be good. But here, this is where we're actually just displaying the data. So we have to grab the data, and we don't do a remove. We don't do a save because we don't need to save anything. We're just grabbing the data, and we're going to say return view customer. And that's it. Okay, so now we are calling a page up, and it's going to check to see if we're going to delete. If we say OK, it's going to come back. It has the customer info. We pass it to the entity. We pull it up via the ID because we have the ID in the record, and we tell it to remove. We do save changes. And the final thing we need to do is we need to do the old magic redirect to the index. And if I didn't make any errors, we should be good. Okay, so here we are. We have our details page. We can go back to list. And I'm going to create one here, Brian Thomas create. Okay, and I'm going to say delete. Oh, we have an error here. Delete or its master is not found. Something's wrong here. It doesn't like it, so let's find out why. Okay, we do have our delete page here. We have an ID. We're calling it up with an ID. We didn't do the we didn't create the view. As you can see, we don't have a delete in here yet. So I jumped the gun just a little bit here in my haste. Okay, so we're going to say delete. We're going to use the delete page template. We're going to use the customer. We're going to say okay. Okay, so there we go. So let's go back to index. Get to see what's and all, baby. What's and all. It's easy to make these mistakes. So I have the Brian Thomas record. Here it is. Do I want to delete this? If I click delete, it will dump the record, or it should. Or I can go back to this. I'm going to delete, and you can see it did dump the record. I'm going to refresh the page. There you go. You got your delete, your details page working. Back to list. So there we go, guys. We've built the 4 basic pages that are needed for actually displaying a record, creating a record, or displaying all the records, the details on a record, and deleting a record, of course. So that is pretty much all of it here. So in the next video, I'm going to go into some customization. I'm not going to go super deep, but I know you're going to enjoy it. I'm not going to really get into the Ajax just yet, but I'm going to show you how to put in notification messages to make the user experience a little more fluid, a little more dynamic, and you'll enjoy it. Coming up in the next video, make sure you guys subscribe or hit the notifications bell to notify, and you'll know the minute the next video comes out. Thanks a lot, guys and girls. Have a nice day.